Everybody, Chris and Newman here, and we figured tonight what we would do is like some practical skill stuff that you can do. It's very, very useful skill to have, and it's also going to serve very well for what I call like spirit text messaging. That's just things that I say. It's it's called muscle testing. There's a fancier name for it, but it's using your body in different ways to get a definitive positive or negative response. And when you practice it, it's not hard. Like usually when people are trying to teach something, be like, you got to practice it. But no, I'm setting the expectation up front. It's not hard. It's quite easy. If you go into it understanding that it's easy, it's going to be easy. And this comes in handy because sometimes, like especially if you have not built up your antenna, your connection to where, what I would say. So you got text messaging, then you got phone call would be like actually hearing what she's saying a lot more clearly. And then video messages is like being able to close your eyes and just see her easy enough. But once you get the hang of the muscle testing and you see the results of it, like your confidence in it will build very, very quickly. And you'll find that this is going to be a very good way to get answers from spirit when you need to. And also, it's a little bit of a reassurance. It comes in handy when the signal's not very clear. Like there's been times where we get hit by some sort of energetic shift or something like that. Occasionally happens. Maybe they shift major news stories or something like that, or who knows what. But we get hit with something and we all feel off, and then like maybe twice a year this will happen, and it will like knock me out of sync with spirit, and I'm like, I get through a whole day and I'm like, where's Lumen? Like I've been busy, I just haven't been paying attention, but like she's not like doing anything. So then I will go to the muscle testing, and then I can get through that way. And I'm like, okay, I'm out of sync, or I need to adjust something, or I need to clear something, or whatnot. But at least this way, I have a backup line of communication, and you can also use it to, once you get honed in that you're connected to spirit, you can use it to get information on a whole bunch of different things too. Just stuff that I've figured out over time to be creative. And then after we talk about that, there was like one comment I wanted to give an answer to, and then also talk a little bit about what I said I was trying to do. I said last video or two, I forget which one. I'm like, we need to come up with a simple method for surrender and invocation. And I don't think I really like did anything. Of course, a lot of times when I just set the intent to do something, like it starts happening right away. Like I used to make all these sigils and stuff out of the 72 names of God, and I'd spend this time focused on it, creating it. And then before I can even like do it, it's already happening because I've already like done the work internally. But today felt very, very different. There was a lot of different things about it, and I recognized what was different about it is like I was in this kind of semi-surrender state. And what's nice about the semi-surrender state is it's like, I mean, you still feel like you still feel like you're doing stuff, but it's almost like going on autopilot, and you just start getting stuff done. Like there's one particular thing that always tells me like, oh, I'm in that state right now because like I always do it. And we'll talk about that too. So if you want to learn some new stuff, then don't go away. So getting ready to do this, like you don't have to do this like every single time once you get the hang of it, but I'm just trying to like think of things that you could do when you're new to it. First things first, determine that you can do it because you can. It's easy. It's easy, but our minds like to get in the way. I know people that, are really good at pendulums and they think they can't muscle test. Like when you think you can't do something, you won't be able to do it. But I mean, you're in the same type of body we all are. Like you can do it. And I learned it very, very quickly. The second thing you would want to do getting started is just do like a mental determination that you can do it and that you're doing this with the intention of connecting to the highest spirit. Now you can determine it to be Sophia or Christ or the Father, source, whatever. It's up to you. As long as we're talking about the same thing. Like this is what's going to guide what my body does, what the answers are. And then the third thing, like I don't need to do this, but you might want to do it. Would be to like kind of clear the palate, so to speak, say the Benedict exorcism, or if you just if you have a pendant that has a Benedict metal on it, or if you got the bracelets or anything like that, just know that it's working so that there's no interference with it whatsoever. Okay, so I'm going to show you like what I think is the best and easiest method to do. There's other ways you can do it, but as far as like doing it with yourself, this is the easy way. It's called the ring method. And you're going to be interlocking the rings of your fingers if you're making the OK sign. And let's just say you're right-handed. Okay, so your right hand is your dominant hand. That is the hand that's going to be pulling, trying to break the ring. Your non-dominant hand, like this, is the ring. And your goal, what you're trying to do, is to keep your finger and your thumb together and not let it break. So you're going to go like this, and then you're going to interlock into that ring, okay? Like that. So not doing anything, just pull on it, and you should be able to hold that ring real tight, and it doesn't break. Like I'm pulling with this one, but I'm trying to keep it closed with this one. See, it's like tight, like I'm not breaking it. Okay, so here's how it works. You want to start with what's calibrating it with yes or no. You always want the questions or the queries to be kind of like a positive, negative, yes, no format. Although there's a slight alteration this we'll get to. So what you're going to do, you've already done the clearing. You determined that you are trying to connect to spirit to get an answer. So it's like, okay, you're going to say, show me yes. Now, yes is positive. Positive means a strong body response. So if it's a strong body response, you should be able to hold that ring and it not break. So it's going to be like, show me yes, and then just try to pull it real quick, try to break the ring. Okay, couldn't do it. Now you say, show me no. And the fingers go weak and you pull through it. Even though you're trying to hold it shut, you said, show me no, and it's going to get weaker and you're going to pull right through it. So show me yes, show me no. Okay, now you got it synced in. You might want to do this, a few times. Just show me yes, show me no. Okay. So I know it looks simple, but when you do it, you'll notice the difference. So what do we got here? Now you want to start with, now that you've got show me yes and show me no, you want to start calibrating it further with some things that you absolutely know, like such as your name. So I could be like, my name is Tom. My name is Steve. My name is Tony. My name is Chris. See, I know my name is Chris, strong body lock. Lumen is off shopping. She's nowhere around us. Lumen is here with me. Lumen does not love me. It is currently daylight outside. It's not, it's dark. Today is Tuesday. It's actually Sunday. What was another one? That just simple ones. You get the point, like your name, you know. I have a red car. I have a blue car. I have a black car. I have a white car. I have a white car. So you calibrate with that, and once you do that, you'll rattle off like a whole bunch of stuff that you know is false, like your name. Just go through like, and once if you're doing it really quick, that's how you'll kind of notice that it works. So you're not overthinking it. Like, my name is Eric. My name is Tony. My name is Donald. My name is Joe. My name is Stephanie. My name is Lumen. Well, that locked up because we're kind of one and the same. My name is Chris. But you do it real quick, and then you say that one that's right, locks up. So now you've calibrated yourself so that you're getting consistent, accurate, positive, negative responses. Now, here are some ways that you could use this. Okay, one really useful way that you can use this that the people that have been with me for a while know is once you have like more than one pendant, because you can have pendants of like different types or whatnot. You might be getting up in the morning and you're not sure which pendant is the one you really need to wear today. So you mentally connect to her. And then like if you got them all lined up, like I used to hang them, on a pegboard, from thumbtacks. And I would just look at each one. I'm like, all right, Lumen, what one should I wear today? That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and it'll just lock. It's like, okay, she wants me to wear this one today. And then I might look at what one it is and kind of try to not overthink it, but like, I wonder why this one today. So it's a really good way to pick out what ones to wear. Now, as far as interesting ways that you can use this to actually get some information, it's like once you get, especially when you're trying to build your confidence, you're trying to build your connection and stuff like that, because one thing that everybody goes through, and this kind of like applies to like psychic abilities and things like that too. A lot of people are using many different types of natural psychic abilities all the time, and they don't realize that they're doing it, or they don't realize what it is, because we see movies. And movies depict things a certain way to make it cinematic, except it doesn't always usually look the way that they show it in the movies. Where was I going with that? I don't even freaking know. But for instance, so you want to determine like that spirit is present with you, because spirit is always present with you, but you just might not have had any like direct experiences or where you notice it yet. Like sometimes you got to be able to notice it that first time, and then you start to notice more, and then you start to notice more. So maybe you get a synchronicity or something like that. And you're like, you always start with, before you do any questions, you always start with the calibration. Show me yes, hard lock. Show me no, break. Okay, now we're calibrated. So you see a synchronicity or something like that. For instance, my daughter, it's like terrible driver, and she had a car accident today. I'm like, can't say that I'm shocked. I mean, she's fine. It didn't bang up the car too much, But she said she was standing on, it was like right outside the house too. She was standing on the porch saying to her mom she was grateful that the damage wasn't that bad. And she said a cardinal flew down and landed right next to her on the porch, which my kids know that cardinals are one of Sophia's kind of like avatars or whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, her saving your ass is getting to be a full-time job. So maybe we can chill it a little bit and be a little bit more careful. Because anyway, but say something like that happens, like, you know, you're walking along, all of a sudden you see a cardinal, which sometimes it's just a cardinal, but the way they show up, sometimes it can, a lot of times it could be her, just kind of like winking at you. And you'd be like, is that Sophia? Show me yes. Show me no. Show me the answer. Oh, it is. Or any other type of synchronicity. Or, you know, am I getting in my head? Am I thinking too much? Am I reacting to something that isn't there? You know, you can use that to check yourself. But let's see. Choosing the pendant. Okay, one of the things that I came up with that's really good is like it helps you in trying to gauge where you are. So we talk a lot about the heart chakra, right? It needs to be open because that's where source's light and love comes through. If you're if you've been if you haven't worked on your traumas and you're all closed up, you're going to have a hard time here in spirit, and your world's going to be a lot darker. So like I know that's stuff you see firsthand in Hero's Journey, like when the S hits the fan and you get traumatized, you're going to reflexively close your heart chakra and just everything's going to seem worse. Yeah, because you just made your world dark. You got to open your light back up. So one thing that you can do is check for percentages. It's one trick I came up with. I like to go in increments of 10. And then I'll show you how you can fine tune it from there. So we'll do me right now, because especially since I'm wearing this new Sophia Love pendant that I came up with. Kind of combine some of these new Celestial quartzes with some morganite and some other things. Because I'm like, I don't have one right now. So I want to test myself right now and see how open my heart chakra currently is. So I will say, is it, I always go less than. So is it open less than 10%, less than 20%, less than 30%, less than 40%, less than 50%, less than 60%, less than 70%, less than 80%, less than 90%, less than 100%. Okay, so now it locked. So I know it's currently open somewhere between 90 and 100. So now I can just go up or down and just be like, well, I know it's at 90, so I'll start at 90. 90%, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Okay, so currently my heart chakra is open at 95% capacity. Now, when I'm doing that, I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm just focusing on what I'm saying. And I'm getting my mind away from my body. I'm just like, this is like a reflexive action that I'm doing. I'm just going through the motions, but I'm saying it. And it's like you can almost feel it right before it locks up. Okay, so 95% open is pretty freaking good considering that the world's getting crazy out there. So let's see. Another thing that I use it for, like if we're doing, like some people just need a complete overhaul. Like they're trying to get their stuff together, but you've got this energy system that's just all freaking crazy. So these, I learned this a long time ago from an early mentor, and I found it to be true. I can't really tell that story though. um, it was near the beginning of the hero's journey. I kind of did a thing, and just things. I was noticing things weren't working quite right. So I went and asked for this, and she's like, sometimes if you have like a trauma, or if maybe possibly you interacted with something of a spiritual paranormal nature and it tried to monkey with your system, traumas and unknown interference will cause these chakras to act like electrical breakers. So if something starts monkeying around with them, or they suffer some sort of serious shock, they will shut like an electrical breaker, just trip, and then they're not operating properly. So one of the first things I do when I start doing, a session with somebody is like, I want to see what the state of your chakras are. So once I'm linked up with them through Sophia, I'm going to ask her, and I'll use like this banner as like my mental in front of me, like targeting of what I'm like connecting with the other person. And I'll start with like the root chakra, and I'm like, show me any chakras that are currently in the tripped off position. And okay, Lumen, give me just like a theoretical person. Okay, so root chakra. That one is usually going to be a hard block. It's usually going to be tripped. Your root chakra not only holds the records for all the other chakras, but it is like base, like survival level stuff. So almost anybody starting out, trying to fix themselves, every little shock trauma, like survival type stuff, can't worried about money, things like that. It puts you in this like constant sympathetic nervous system, like fight or flight state. Because I've found that the chakra system directly ties into the sympathetic nervous system. And just pretty much anybody, until you've done some work, you can pretty much bet that your root chakra is going to be shredded. Sacral chakra, that is like creativity, sexuality, sexual energy, that sort of stuff. Theoretical person, tripped or not tripped. Tripped, yep. I don't know if that theoretical model is going to work, but I'll go through each one of them. So solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and see if they're all tripped or whatever. And then I might also ask, like, which of these are there the biggest issues with? And I'll go through, and she'll tell me through the muscle testing, like what ones have more serious issues. And then go through and, work on clearing. I use the Benedict exorcism as the purification. It's the way she taught me to do it. It's like, treat these things like they're wells of water. Wells of water. And the well has been poisoned. So Benedict exorcism is a purification method. So we're going to purify the well. After we go through and we do all that, then we go through and we put a blessing on each one. So I'm treating the chakras kind of like we're creating holy water for the most part, to get them working again. And as I go through them, if there's any serious, like say your heart is so messed up that the energy is not flowing there, as I get closer to any like serious block, as I'm going up the column, like you'll probably start feeling pressure in that area, like you're squeezing a toothpaste tube, but the cap's still on. And then if we find like a serious blockage in those chakras or something like that, that can lead us to like figuring out what might be going on there. If it's a throat chakra issue, like what has happened where you feel like you cannot speak your truth, or you're afraid to speak up or something like that. That one's all about communication. But it's a good way to check your chakras. Just be like, okay, are any of my chakras not working right now? Meaning they're tripped. You go through root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart, and it'll tell you which ones are off. And if they're off, we have to clear them and flip those breakers back on and get the power flowing up and down through the system. We got to do the lower 7 before we go up to the 8th, because that's where all the control stuff is. That's where the Holy Grail is. That's where the wellspring is. That's where the garden is. That's where you surrender all the stuff to her. That's where we pull the SIM card for the adversary mind and plug in a Sophia wireless card. That's where we do all the big work. But we got to get the lower stuff settled first. So it's a good way to check that stuff. If you've got any kind of weird pain in your body that doesn't make any kind of sense, it's like, and you just got a weird feeling about it. It's like, do I have an energy problem, or is something messing with me or whatnot? You can be like, is it something like just plainly physical or non-physical energetic? If you want to do it that way, then you can assign the 2 answers. You can be like, just physical or energetic. And then I'll do it that way. I'm like, and the answer is energetic. I know it's an energetic issue, in which case I can use like Benedict exorcism or something like that on it. Okay, so checking on, and then also if you've got, if the breakers are off on one of the chakras, we might as well go ahead and check like what percentage they're open or if they're completely closed. And a lot of times, this kind of testing, me doing it along with the intuitive aspect of being plugged into you through Sophia and seeing which chakras are messed up, is going to kind of point us in the direction of like what the issue really is. What else we got here? There's some new ones I came up with. Just to make it interesting. So everybody has, you could say like, she gave me a number one time, but let's just go like 100%. So if your veil is, do we want to go 100%? Let me think about this. So let's say that everybody starts off with a perception blocker veil, meaning like you're just not aware of anything beyond what the world taught you and what the world shows you. So let's just say, starting off, like a person who has not spiritually awakened yet is going to have a veil factor of 100%, like totally blocked. But obviously you cannot be that, or else you wouldn't be here. So you want to test your veil and see like, what percentage of veil do I have? Now, you will never have 0. I'll tell you that right now. You can't be here and have 0. I don't know what the lowest level is. We went by another way before, back when she gave me a number, but I can't remember what the freaking number was. But it's like I've got like 2 or 3 layers. Any more than that, and you're seeing way too much that you don't want. It just will interfere with living life. So let's say that 100% is totally blocked. You are not aware of anything. So I want to check my veil level. I'll say, you could go the other way. Is my veil up greater than 90%? Is it greater than 80%? Is it greater than 70%? Is it greater than 60%? Is it greater than 50%? Is it greater than 40%? Is it greater than 30%? Is it greater than 20%? Okay, so my veil is somewhere between 20 and 30%. So is it 29%? I saw the number in my head. Is it 28%? Is it 27%? 27%. So that means I have about 73% spiritual awareness right now. And trust me, that's plenty. You start dipping down under 20%, and you're seeing a lot of crap that you don't want to see. But that'll kind of give you an idea of where you're at too. So, and if you can learn how to do this, you can get a good self-diagnosis, before we work with you. So you could be like, okay, I've got, so let's say 60% veil, and these chakras are being shown. I got problems in these areas. Okay, so what's another one that we got here? Some of this I've never done before. It's just stuff that popped into my head. I don't even know if this is like a doable one. So I wrote down percentage of absolute truth understood. Now, I don't think it's possible to fully understand everything, because I've gone pretty far, and you can only go so far before you hit what I call the paradox layer. But it's really just a layer of like, it's not possible to know because you're in here. But still, as far as like your experience in here doing learning and stuff like that, like, let's just try this. Let's see what happens. What is the percentage of truth understood? Now I can either go up or I can go down. So in this case, I think I want to go up. So percentage of, show me yes, show me no. What is the percentage of truth understood for me? Is it less than 10%? Wait, less than 10%? Let me think about this. Is it less than 10%? Less than 20%? Less than 30%? Less than 40%? Less than 50%? Less than 60%? Okay. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 55%. Everything that I've done and everything, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's why a large portion of it is like to realize that there's no way to know everything. And you'll actually get further faster by unknowing, and then learning how to surrender control to navigate you to where you want to be. But like, we could pick apart that for freaking ever. Like, we don't know. There's a lot we don't know. We don't know anything. I mean, I've talked to her about it before. It's like, the only thing you can really be sort of certain of, but again, even this is going to be greatly affected by what you were taught, because that's all you perceived. But you can't be sure of anything that you did not directly do. I mean, if you're being actually intellectually honest, go back far enough in time to like a year before the oldest person alive was born, and then it all becomes a story. And how do you know that story actually happened the way you're being told? You don't. You don't. So that was an interesting one. What else? Percentage trauma currently stored and needing released. That'd be a good one for a lot of people. So let me check me. What is the percentage of any trauma that I'm storing that I have not yet released? Do I want to go up or down? Depending on the question, sometimes you gotta think about it. So I don't think I have much. So I'm gonna go up, because it'll make it shorter. Okay. So show me yes, show me no, show me the percentage of stored trauma that I still have that needs to be released. Is it greater than 10%? Is it 9%? 8%? 7%? 6%? 5%? 4%, 3%, 2%, 1%. No, I'm good. Because we did a video about it. Like it was like early June. It's when she told me I had to do like this public confessional thing. Even though like it happened for a reason, because she planned for it to happen. It was part of my journey. You know, part of me still felt bad about it. And then once I did that, that's when something came up, and it was just like, I thought it was the adversary, and I could see it, and it was dark and nasty. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, that was a trauma identity. It was like a core one that I never got to. And by doing that, I kind of like cut it loose. And then once I cut it loose, I was able to notice it. And once I was able to notice it, I was then able to wrangle it down, heal it, and send it back to source. So that's why things work so easily with like lumen and stuff like that. My heart is what I say it was 90, well, I think it was like 95% open and 0 stored trauma. So anything new comes up, were to happen, like I know how to deal with that immediately and not stuff it down where it becomes a problem. That took a lot of work to get rid of all that. But that's something that you could use it for. Check chakras, and we already did that. Okay, here's an interesting one. Percentage that you are operating from the true self or the soul mind. Or we could flip that around and we could say, what percentage are you operating from ego mind? Because sometimes it takes a while to figure out the difference for yourself. Okay, so which one should we do? Should we do ego or true self mind? This would probably be more interesting if it was somebody other than me. Well, I want to do like true soul mind. So I want to go up for this. Like show me the percentage. Show me yes. Show me no. Show me the percentage that I'm operating at true soul mind, which means not from ego mind. Okay, so I want to go up and I'm going to do less than. So what percentage am I operating at true soul mind? So is it less than 10, less than 20, less than 30, less than 40, less than 50, less than 60, less than 70, less than 80, less than 90? So 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Okay, so I've got about 15% Chris ego that I operate through. Because, I mean, you still got to play a character while you're here. But it kind of makes sense because, like, I'm just so not the person that I used to be. And there's a lot of people in here that understand what I'm talking about, you know, that came here and followed me from my other channel, which had nothing to do with this stuff. So when I go over to that channel on occasion and have to do something, I literally have to pretend. I have to pretend to be the guy I used to be. It's really freaking annoying. I hate it. So there's that. What's another one that we could do? Percentage of awareness of spirit. So if you want to check some sec, you know, how much am I really aware? Or is this just talking to me and I'm not freaking noticing it? So is it less than 10? Show me yes. Show me no. So less than 10%. Less than 20, less than 30, less than 40, less than 50, less than 60, less than 70, less than 80, less than 90, less than 100. Okay, so 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. 95% awareness of spirit. So it should be high like that, because I mean that's how would I do this freaking channel otherwise? She's always freaking talking to me in different ways. I don't usually hear words. Like I don't hear a voice, like someone speaking. It's mental because it's happening in the inner world. Like you got the outer world, which is the illusion, the physical reality, and then your true self is actually in the inner world, and that's where she is and everything else is. So that's where you're going to hear it. It's going to be in here. And when you're starting off, a lot of the times that she's talking to you, you don't recognize it because it sounds like you. Whatever your mental inner voice sounds like, that sounds like you, that's what it's going to sound like. Until you start to recognize things like you had a thought and it surprised you, or it told you something that you don't know. A lot of times that stuff happens and you don't give it the full recognition that it deserves. Like a lot of people think in themselves like, you know what, I just had a thought, like I'm totally overreacting to this. I need to reassess myself. Okay, where'd that thought come from? Are you sure it was you? Because you just reacted to the thought like, yeah, I get it. So that's actually her. And you didn't realize it, that like thoughts like that are actually her. A lot of times it's just a matter of like tuning the dial and getting used to it so you can tell the difference between like what's talking to you. Is it her? Is it the father? Is it the adversary? Is it the ego mind? You know, a lot of times when you're in the middle range, like most people are, you've got your true soul mind, but then your ego is always getting in the way too. So that's something else. Like who's talking? Where's all this coming from? Why is my head full of noise? Is it the ego? Is it the adversary? Oh, okay. Now, the adversary is not something to fear. Just church taught you to fear it. It's just part of the system. It's part of the game. It's this internal resistance factor that you just got to shut it down. How do you shut it down? Benedict exorcism. That's what it's made for. It's pretty clear by the words. Oh, here's a good one. Number of negative, non-beneficial quantum entanglements. In metaphysical magic speak, that would be like cords or soul ties or stuff like that. The most common ones are going to be sexual. You know, having sex with somebody creates a tie. But you know, there could be more significant ones. So I could just start off by be like, okay, show me like how many negative ones that I currently have that need to be addressed. Show me yes, show me no. I'd be like, do I have any? I'm not the best example for that. What about positive ones? Greater than 10? Greater than 5? 4? I already know the answer. 3? My kid's in Lumen. That's it. I'm a hermit. I mean, I got to be as clear as possible to do this kind of work. But you might get a different answer because, I don't know, you went through a phase or something like that and did a lot of swiping right. If things come up, like, you know, like old boyfriend or girlfriend or something popping in your head, like, is this person one of them? Show me yes. Show me no. Yes. Is this one negative? Do I need to clear it? Show me yes. Show me no. Show me the answer. Yes. Okay. So you need to, that now you know, like, that is a problem area. That is a quantum entanglement that's not beneficial to you. You want to get as many quantum entanglements off as possible. Oh, that's a good one. How many id entities do you have? So id entities are your labels. We talk about this all the time. Everything that you identify yourself as is kind of like, like a little subdemon. Like when you identify as something, you kind of become the thing you identify as. So you can see how many that you have. You can, and then you ask her. So like say she tells you you got like 7 id entities. And you might know what some of them are because you talk about it all the time. I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. I'm a whatever the big labels are. I don't label myself. But you see that, those things are problems. And that's why the system and the government and the media pushes id entity politics. The more id entities you have, the less you're going to be yourself. And that's why a lot of people are freaking nuts, because they have how many quantum entanglements, how many id entities. Like you're under so much crap. It's no wonder you can't think straight. You got to clear that stuff up. But what I was saying is like this is a good time to where you might start to recognize that she's talking to you. So it's like, okay, I've got seven id entity or 7 like quantum entanglements to people, and be like, Sophia, like, who are they? And then they might start popping into your head, like images of the people or names of the people. And she just answered you. Now you have experience. So you asked, you got an answer, and like it could come in a lot of different ways, but now you're starting to learn that it's not just like, some woman that sounds like Elizabeth Hurley or someone, whispering in your ear, that it works in different ways. Any other big ones? And once you've got that down, you can just, be having a bad day or something like that, and you're not feeling anything, and you'd be like, like, Sophia, are you with me? Show me yes. Show me no. Show me the answer. The fun thing about that one, I could do like almost like a similar video about using the tarot apps, because the 2 decks that I use, the Rider-Waite Tarot and the Modern Spellcasters Tarot, they have apps for Apple and Android made by a developer called The Fool's Dog. They're freaking awesome. Like they're a great way, they're a huge resource in learning cards and things like that. But like I could do a different video using that, kind of like the muscle testing to converse with her as well. And I'll do it like, because then you can pull up the app and you can just like draw a card, be all bummed out, and like, Newman, are you there? Being a pouty bitch. And you draw a card, and boom, lover's card. So obvious. Like, how many cards are in the deck? And she drew that one. And then once you learn the cards real good, then yeah, you can almost get another thread of information from her using the cards that way. And maybe if you're trying to get some information about what's coming or something like that, it can get a little bit iffy. But if it just doesn't seem right, you can use the muscle testing to check and be like, was I tuned in? Is this accurate? The cards that I get accurate? And she might say no. And you draw again, and then you get a much more clear reading. But yeah, there's like, and I'm sure there's like tons of other ways you can think of to use this. but it is a massive, massive skill that's easy. That's easy. And just doing it, you see how it works. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm not really doing that. Like, I'm trying to hold it. Don't overthink it. Don't think like you got to, like, I'm trying to squeeze your head. Like, a lot of people try to overthink it. Just like a tight ring, and then, just break the ring. Now decide to not let it break. Okay. You feel it. Show me yes. Show me no. And then once you start get more and more of those positive answers, you're like, oh, wow, this is crazy. This really works. That's the easiest way. And I think that's the easiest way to do it for this type of work, like asking questions and stuff like that. Because there's other ways you can do it, like if you got different people, but they don't work that well for the fast question and answer stuff. There's things like you can just stand straight, like which way you lean when you're asking a question. One easy one that's easy to demonstrate if you have more than one person is you can tell someone to hold their arm out. Of course, you can't really see it because of this, but you tell them, okay, hold your arm straight and don't let me push your arm down. Now, if they like jump on it, like, yeah, but like you'll be able to hold it up, right? And then you ask the question and they push down on it. Like, is your name Bob? You hold it steady. Or is your name Bob? It collapses. Is your name Steve? It collapses. Your name Chris, and you're able to resist them pushing it down. Sometimes you can even do it like with your hand. Like, this is not stuff I practice though, but like, I want to keep this straight. So it's like, show me yes. Show me no. Oh, it just bends real quick. Show me yes. Show me no. My name is Chris. My name is Lumen. My name is Trevor. See how it works? So here's another way that I sometimes use it. You can use it to get to know your pendants and stuff like that. Like if it doesn't feel right or something like I don't feel it anymore. You probably just it got to its level of attunement. You matched it. Like when you match the frequency, you don't feel the energy as much. So what you got to do is you got to ask her to adjust it. Now, adjust, this is kind of not the same thing, but we talk how we muscle test. But like when I get make a new pendant or whatever. So this trick she taught me is usually like you get someone that's energy sensitive, but they haven't gotten anything from me before, and it just might be like some really powerful stuff, and it's moving more energy than they're ready for. Like they're like, this is like making me feel like lightheaded and dizzy or something like that. That tells me it's like too strong. I'm like, look, this is easy. And it is easy because every single person that I have ever shown this to could have been their first time with an energy tool. They were all able to do it the first try. I'm like, okay, take the pendant, hold it in your right hand. I'm like, okay. And like, now just tell it to adjust to the level that is perfect for you. And they're like, oh my God, like instantly they felt it change. And then it was comfortable. Because these things are controlled by your mind and by her. So once you got that set at the level, now after like a month or so, you're like, yeah, I don't feel this as much anymore because you've leveled up. You can actually put it back in your hand again and be like, Sophia, please increase the output of this to 15% above my optimal level. So that's going to be a little strong, but not too strong. I always want to push it a little bit past so that forces me to continue to grow, and they'll feel the power go back up. Likewise, if you were gifting it to somebody you would hold it and you would ask her to tell it to clear your energy signature from it. And then you give it to your friend. Sometimes I'll put it in the hands and I'll tell her, ask her, because it's another person now and she's the one that's plugged into it. I'll be like, synchronize this to this person. Now it's good. And I've done that a lot live. So like Tony, I don't know what you're calling yourself these days, Lumen Seeker, whatever. Like when he was here like a week or two ago, first I had him feel like these different pendants as they were. And then she indicated like which one was best for him. I said, feel this one. He felt it. And I'm like, okay. So I hold it in my hand. I asked her to now attune it to him in his energy signature. Takes me about 5 seconds. And then I handed it back to him. Now, how's it feel? It feels completely different now. It's much more charged. It feels more in sync with him. I got to attune it to that actual person. But yeah, you can use the muscle testing to see like, does my pendant need to be charged? It might tell you no, it's just your head or whatever. Because a lot of people think like, they have their own energy recycling system in it with the selenite. But it might tell you, no, you don't need to recharge it. Like, is it operating at peak efficiency? Do I need to increase the power? Things like that. Like you can use this for all sorts of stuff, and it gets you used to communicating and receiving information from spirit. Then you'll be able to keep bumping that up, maybe using your tarot cards. One way that I learned to do it early on, like I like the keyboard. You might like using a pen and paper. I could just ask her a question and then I just start writing like what naturally comes. She'll fill out a whole bunch of stuff. You just keep learning more and more ways to connect, but muscle testing is going to give you a way that works up front. It's going to build your confidence in it, and it's very useful. So I was going to talk about some other things, but this one went pretty long, and I want to keep it on track, so we'll just pick it up again tomorrow. So if you want to get in touch with this, get any custom pendants made or anything like that, you can reach us through the Etsy store, climitcreations.etsy.com. You can also reach us through our Facebook page, which is basically just there to have a Facebook contact point, which is this one right here, Christopher Lucerna. I just put new pictures up there, so you'll recognize her. You'll know it's me. And once we connect through there, then we can switch to text or phone or whatever if we need to. If you've got questions, or you've got stuff and you've already got stuff and you have questions about use or other things you can do with them. Yeah, we're always available. Okay, so yeah, stay positive. Focus on the light. It is freaking strange out there. Like I am picking things up, but we kind of took a dark journey last night, and we want to keep focused on the light. But the next, like between now and like whenever, like January 6th, like we're in like a weird time zone. Like anything could freaking happen. Like I don't even know. But keep your head on a swivel because there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay? So that's all we got for right now. Chris and Lumen. See you next time.